Hey, I'm Shani, and you're watching It's Style Theory. Oh my god, Pretty Little Liars is back, finally. All is right in the world. I love this episode. I thought it was really great. I was telling my sisters who are just starting the show that I thought the season 4 finale was like one of the best episodes of the show so far, and then I saw EscApe from New York and I was like, this is even better than that. So yeah, comment below and tell me what you thought of the episode, but I loved it. I thought it was great. So, now on to the review. So the episode starts off with Ezra getting put into an ambulance. Arya is crying and she's really upset, and Noel is like talking to an officer describing what happened. He was like, I heard a gunshot or something. That seemed kind of suspicious to me because, I don't know, what did you guys think? It kind of seemed like he was pretending to seem innocent. Until the whole Shauna thing that happened in the end of the episode, I was actually kind of thinking that he could have been the person in the black hoodie. And he still could be. Okay, and then there was that scene where the ambulance drives away and A is just riding on top of the ambulance. I'm sorry, but that just looked hilarious. Okay, and then the show goes all Grey's Anatomy and Ezra's like rushed into the ER and stuff. And he's rushed into surgery and A's standing there and nobody notices him or her. So then the girls think of a plan and they decide to split up. One thing I was wondering was, where did Hannah get that gun from that she gave to Arya? Because if that was the gun that A had, why would they take that? That's like, that could get them in trouble with the whole Ezra thing. Anyway, so back home in Rosewood, the parents are all worried and talking to each other because they have no idea where their daughters are. And Melissa's back. And she told her dad some secret that has him like in this weird shock. And he's just like sitting on the couch in shock the whole time, and then later on he starts drinking and he's like, Melissa, your mother can never know the secret. And I was just like, Melissa, you need to tell your mom, but she's probably not going to tell her mom. I'm thinking that the secret has something to do with Spencer, because if it had to do with Melissa, she wouldn't want to tell it if it made her look bad. She just wouldn't, so. And then we see Melissa's reaction to finding out Allison is alive. And yeah, she was upset and stuff, but I'm sorry. Her crying at the counter, that was so fake. And she didn't look upset at all when she went to join Mona and Lucas and all the rest of them in the end of the episode. She looked fine, so I think that was fake. Okay, so Arya waits at the hospital alone for Ezra to be done with surgery, and she tries to stay low-key and stuff, and then Allison takes Spencer, Emily, and Hannah to this theater that she used to go to with Ezra, and we find out that Ezra, actually his family owns this big theater. Cece, who was talking to Detective Holbrook in the season 4 finale, escapes from jail or something, and Allison helps her by giving her her plane ticket and passport. I don't know if that was smart. It probably wasn't, but I want Allison to stay in the show, so I'm kind of glad she did that. So now she can't leave, but it probably wasn't smart. And then Mona starts acting like really weird. Like she has some kind of plan, or she's had some kind of plan all along or something. And she just starts acting really weird and making all these calls. And then we find out later that she's called all of these people that Allison has messed with, like all these people wearing glasses. No offense because I wear glasses, but like all of these nerdy looking people, and I'm just like, who are these people? But Lucas is there, and oh my god, I heard he was coming back for this season, and I'm so happy. He's literally one of my favorite characters, even though he may be like on the wrong side now. And Paige is in the group, but I'm just like, Paige, please do not take Mona's side. But of course she ends up staying. And then Melissa walks in. It'll be interesting to find out what's going on with all of them and what they have planned. And I know Melissa's up to something, and I know she always has been up to something. We get to see flashbacks of Allison and Ezra in the theater. Okay, and then at the hospital. So Arya's waiting, and Shauna appears, and Arya's like, what are you doing here? And Shauna's like, Allison sent me to look after you. And at that point, we didn't even know who Allison had called, so it was kind of believable. And I was like, oh, that was nice of Allison. Yeah, Shauna's on Allison's side. But then like a few seconds later, I was like, wait a minute, this seems a little bit too good to be true. And then Shauna started acting suspicious. And then I was like, oh, that was too good to be true. And then when Shauna and Arya are in Ezra's room and Ezra sees Shauna and he like starts to panic, I knew something was wrong. I was like, oh my god, is Shauna A? So I'm not going to talk about everything that happened in this episode. I'm just going to talk about kind of the main things. But yeah, so one of the big things that happened that really was just kind of weird and kind of shocking, the scene where the girls tried to trick A into meeting them in the park and Allison's like running down the street alone, and the whole time I was thinking, why is she running down the street alone? And eventually I started thinking she wouldn't run down the street alone. This is obviously a plan. When all of the Black Hoodie people surrounded them in the park, I was just thinking, like, what was that? And I really hope they go back to it and explain it later and don't just leave it, because that could have meant so many things. That could have meant that the Black Hoodie person, that the main one that was following Allison was A, and A just hired all those random people to just come to the park. Or those were all people on the A team, and I don't know which one it is. What do you guys think? Maybe the Black Hoodie person who was at the park wasn't Shauna. Yeah, so I don't know if all those people were on the A team or if they were just random people. It kind of seems like they were just random people. Okay, so the ending of the episode. I thought it had a few problems. So in the end, Arya calls the theater, but they don't answer because Officer Holbrook called the theater because he was looking into Ezra because of that whole thing, and he figured out that Ezra owned that theater, and so he decided to call that theater. Yeah, and so Allison picks up and talks to Officer Holbrook. How does he just guess that Allison is the one that is answering the phone? That I'm not really sure. I mean, I think that was like an easy out for the writers, because would you really just think the random person that answers the phone is Allison? I don't know. It could have been anyone. But anyway, it was Allison. So Officer Holbrook tells the New York PD to like send people over to the theater, and then it like takes them forever to get to the theater. And so that whole ending scene, I was just like, are the police coming? Are the police coming? Are they like here now? Because realistically, I don't think it would take the police that long to get there. Or maybe since it wasn't an emergency it would, but it took them a really long time. In a time between the police arriving in the end and Officer Holbrook calling the police, Shauna came to the theater, they got into that whole confrontation. I was believing that Shauna could have pulled the trigger at any time. She seemed pretty mad. I didn't know how they were going to get out of it, and then I remembered, oh, Arya could come. And then, so something happened. Arya, she hit the gun out of Shauna's hand, and the gun shot into the air or something, and Shauna dies. And I'm just like, wait, so now Arya is kind of responsible for the death of a person. So that's a really big problem. Are they really thinking they're gonna get away with that when they've already got all these other things that people are suspecting them for? They just keep getting in more and more trouble, and I just don't even know how they're gonna get themselves out of all of this. And then even if no one suspects they had anything to do with Shauna's death, are they really just gonna keep that a secret to themselves, or are they gonna confess that they were there and stuff? And Cece, I'm kind of mad that she just got away as easily as she did, but whatever. So anyway, that was the episode. A lot more happened, but those are the things I wanted to talk about. So I watched the promo for episode 2 of season 5, and apparently Allison goes back to Rosewood. So that means she's gonna find out that her mom is dead. I didn't really want to believe that her mom actually is dead, but a lot of people think she is, so maybe she is. You know what? I have a theory about why Spencer and Melissa's dad doesn't want whatever secret Melissa told him to get out or anything. I think that it has to do with Jason, and that he's trying to protect Jason, because we have to think about his motives, and other than Spencer and Melissa and Mrs. Hastings, who else does he really need to protect? Well, Jason. And he doesn't know that Mrs. De Laurentiis is dead. I don't know if anyone knows. Also, Allison, I have suspicions that she could just be making a lot of this up and just pretending to be on the girl's side now. I think she could just be pretending about all of this, possibly. And that would be really mean of her, but I think that could be a scenario that's happening, or she could really be trying to make things better. Yeah, the show is really going in a direction it's never gone before. This is really exciting. So that's all for this review. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because I upload new pretty little live reviews every Thursday. Also visit my channel for fashion videos and movie reviews and other stuff. And if you like daily vlogs, subscribe to my main channel because I upload videos there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, can you keep a secret? I think it's safe to say that this season we might really finally find out who Big A is. That's what I'm hoping. So, episode 1 of season 5 is called Escape from New York.